Hi, Acelia. Thank you for having me in your program. My name is Carlos Chiusone. I'm the Director of Operations and founder of N2NGO Disaster Response. Our mission is basically to go to the disaster areas right after the disaster has happened. We bring satellite phones with us. And if there were people left behind that were not able to leave the area because they didn't have any methods of transportation, etc., we will be there for them to be able to make a phone call to their families outside of the area and coordinate what is next, whether they're going to leave the area or whether somebody's going to come in and help them. The aha moment happened in Puerto Rico. After Maria hit, I was driving with a doctor in one of our cars, and we saw this couple next to their house with walking their dog, or I should say their dog walking with them. And we stopped and we started talking to them, and they were telling us about how their house, what happened, how things, got into the rivers, that the floods were incredible, that the winds were tremendous. In Puerto Rico, something that happened was that the first part of the hurricane hit, and then the eye came in, and a lot of people came out thinking, oh, this is over. We can get out. And they didn't realize that the worst was about to hit. And when it hit again, I don't know that I can use the expression I wanted to use on TV, but that hit the roof. They were telling us that they hadn't been able. I should make a point that this is 3 weeks after the hurricane hit, and they were telling us they had gone several times to town to try to charge their phones and to try to make phone calls, and they hadn't been able to. It takes them about an hour to an hour and a half to walk to that town. And the joke was, which we were laughing because they were laughing about it, and they were saying like, oh, every so often somebody goes by with a horse and we get a ride on the horse to go over there. So that will take down the time tremendously. Very few vehicles were going by here as well. Some vehicles from organizations I'd rather not mention. Some were very helpful to them, some were not. And all of a sudden she tells me, the biggest problem that I have is I haven't been able to speak to my daughter who lives in upstate New York. And that's when I realized, oh my God, communications. And even though I am a ham radio operator, and in the previous week I had done communication to connect families via ham radio, for one reason or another one, it hadn't clicked. And I grabbed my satellite phone and I said, what is the number? I dialed the number. She spoke to her daughter. They said hello. They cried for about 2 minutes. And then they started talking about what to do next, whether her daughter was going to come back to Puerto Rico or whether they were going to go to San Juan and fly to somewhere in Florida or in Georgia and meet her daughter. So that was the aha moment for me to say, like, I need to do this. And the communications cannot just happen within the central areas where the NGOs are. But the communications have to happen in these rural roads, in these remote towns. In Puerto Rico, we after that went to another town that was even smaller than the town that they were walking or going to charge their phones. And we met in a town plaza, probably 100 people, who told us the same thing. They haven't been able to talk to anybody. Many of them, of course, had no need. But a good amount of them had people who lived in the mainland and wanted to be able to say, hey, can we go to your home? Our homes are destroyed. Or are you able to send us help somehow? In that moment, I wasn't able to use my satellite phone because of the amount of people that were there. But as we kept on driving, we stopped probably 3 or 4 times just that day to have people call their loved ones. And the solace on their face was, it brings tears to my eyes.